his country to do something that he wasn't willing to do. Reaching out to help a cause changes more lives than you think. Okay, I want to do a quick exercise. If you're all wondering what this pool is, here's the time.
Can everyone still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So imagine that this pool is the world. All of the world is inside of this pool. This is Earth. And this is you. You're just a boat. And it's basically your life. And you're floating around the world. And you're trying to just make it from port to port, really. Just trying to get by. And it's really hard, right? Life is hard. There's storms. We run out of fuel. We get lost. Sometimes we don't even know where we're going. Okay, so we're floating around. And we don't know what we're doing. But we're just trying our best. What makes it confusing, the world, is that there's all these other people out there. So this is another person. So someone else out in the world, and we're all trying our best. So we're floating around the pool. And what happens sometimes, all the time, in fact, this is a great example of it right now, is that we run into each other. Boom, we collide, and we change paths. So imagine that you're headed to a port on that other side, you collide with someone, it changes your direction. So you may be able to steer back and go back to that same port that you were headed to, but you're going to reach it at a totally different time than you would have if you hadn't bumped into that other person, right? So basically the point is that we change each other's lives by colliding with each other, by running into each other, meeting each other. But here's the real point, is that we actually don't even have to collide to change each other's lives. So I want you to watch the red boat as this guy drops into the earth, completely changes where he is. Sorry, didn't know you were in the splash zone. So you can see that just the ripple effect of someone way over here, could be miles and miles on the other side of the earth, is changing my life right here as this red boat. We didn't collide, we didn't meet each other, we didn't run into each other, but my life has changed. I'm going to reach the next port, I'm going to reach a totally different port. Everything has changed because that person exists. It's called Ubuntu. And Ubuntu describes the interconnectedness of the world. I am me because you are you. I am this person whose thoughts and actions are all affected by all of you. I haven't ever met you, and yet you've met someone who met someone who met someone, and you changed their life, which started a cascade of events which changed my life, the ripple effect. It goes to some guy in France, Australia, all of you here, everyone in the whole world, all changing who I am. We can't escape it. We're a part of the world, and so the world changes us. So here's kind of a funny story. Back to the caravan, when we actually got back to America, I had this really creepy, stalker-esque email in my email box. So I open it up, and they say, "Hello, I made a donation to the Eyes on Africa Foundation and attached a photo." And this is the photo. We're all inside of the bus, and this photo comes from the sky. So really creepy. So what turns out is that there was a family above the lot we were working on the caravan in, and they saw our shirts, went on our website, made a donation, took pictures, and sent the pictures to us. See, the point is that we weren't donating anything to the man who sold trailers, or to the couple in the apartment, but we changed their lives, so they say. Big or small, deciding you're going to help is like throwing a rock into this pool. There's a ripple effect. We'll never know how far that ripple spreads, but know that it does. Eyes on Africa was started off of someone else's ripple, and that person's by someone else's all across the whole world. The world is not a hopeless place. There's ripples all over it, and one has just collided with you today. Ubuntu. It's all about change. That's what I keep coming back to. And what better way than to save a life? We sure are reluctant to look at things at face value nowadays. I know that we have saved lives. Even if we only saved one, isn't it worth it? How many people can say they've saved a life? I don't think it's bragging. Most of you probably have. Have you ever volunteered your time, donated to a cause, done anything like that? You've saved a life. Don't be afraid of calling it what it is. You are saving a life, and that's an incredible thing. So the way I see it, you have two choices right now. You can leave GYLC and go back to your life the way it was. Tell people what a great time you had and wait on the packet. Or you can write your own. Scratch out what doesn't work along the way and change the world. Nobody's going to force you either way. But if you can save a life and you don't, what are you doing? Are you preparing yourself to be launched by incoming waves?
Or are you building a dam so no matter how hard Ubuntu tries, you're not going to go off course? You're all here because you're successful, bright people. But there's a pitfall to that. Because successful, bright people become successful, bright adults and then die. That's the end game for all of us. We're all going to die. So as successful, bright people, we have this great trait, right? We set goals and we accomplish them. It's our best quality, but it's also our worst enemy. What's wrong with setting goals and accomplishing them? Is that we often lean into the storm to keep the waves from knocking us off the path. The path? What path? There is no path. There's nothing that you're supposed to do except that is change. We're all obligated to change. We don't change anything except where we are on the graph of our life if we refuse to take chances. Do you want your life to be a line graph, or do you want it to be a painting? Think about how a painting is made using separate strokes all working towards the same goal. It's like traveling down the path less traveled with a chainsaw. Don't stay on that path either. Wind your way through that forest, affecting more of that thing than anyone who's gone there before. What's this got to do with leadership? Everything. As successful, bright people, we are the ones creating paths. We're not the ones who are supposed to follow the path, even if it is less traveled. We're the ones who have to blaze a new trail so that others can follow. We set sail for uncharted waters, and others will follow whether you like it or not. It's a bigger job than saying thank you when someone says you're a leader. It means you throw the map away and change the world. It means you hold on to your rebellious spirit and save a life. Now, I don't want you to wander around aimlessly through your life calling it leadership because you haven't set any goals. But set your own goals. The news, TV shows, music, books, they're all filled with things that shape our world. They try and tell us what to think, what to want, and how to act. You want to be a doctor or a lawyer? That's great. Why? Each of you is special and perfect, and exactly the way you're supposed to be right now in this moment. Be yourself. I want you to ask why before you do anything. Because there are people out there who want to tie your boat to theirs, and if you do that, you'll end up shipwrecked. So why did I start Eyes on Africa? Because even if it were to self-destruct today, I know that I've made a difference. My aunt always said that everyone's goal in life is to matter. Well, I have a question. Have you mattered? Are you mattering? Will you matter? We have to matter now so that we can move forward. So much of the mattering that happens in this world is clamoring for us to get back to some point before something went wrong. If we start early, when we're young, then our mattering can give direction. Change. It's leadership, it's mattering, it's easy, and it's your obligation. I hope you guys do change the world. And when you do, I hope that I can be one of those who you know that helps you do it along the way. Use the people around you as a kickstart to your change. But don't be so consumed with what you're doing that you're not the who you know for the person next to you. If this were a big, long story, this would be the part with a moral, so chime back in for a second. I want you to realize how capable you are to change the world. But I don't want you to just realize it. I want you to show everyone that being young is no longer a rite of passage into adulthood, but merely the first couple brushstrokes of our masterpiece. Together, we are going to change the world. And it's going to start today. Some of the doors we knock on are going to swing open, but it's the ones that we have to beat down that are really going to show us who we are. Are you ready to find out if you can be the change that we all know needs to happen in the world? We can do it. We are the future of this world. And from where I'm standing, it looks like we're going to throw a boulder the size of the Grand Canyon into that pool. Let your ripple change the world. People always talk about times in life that change it. Now I'm up here saying that my trip to South Africa was one of those times for me. I don't want you to look at that example and say, oh my gosh, I can't wait for something like that to happen to me. Because if you do that, then you're going to be like 99% of the world, and it never will. This can be one of those experiences. This conference can change your life forever. You know that there were people who went on that exact same trip that I did that did nothing except write it on their resume and keep trucking. You have to take an experience, internalize it, and figure out how each of life's moments speaks to you. Our goal should be for every moment of life to be life-changing. GYLC can be that start. You do not have to wait to matter. You can do something tomorrow. You have to do something tomorrow because you have this opportunity that no one else has. Don't take it for granted. Don't not appreciate how lucky you are. No matter what happens, you have more than the majority of the people on this planet. And if you choose not to make a difference, you're wrong. So being a leader is about who you are, not what you do, right? You can be a leader in the business world, a leader as a doctor, a leader as a student, a leader as a kid. You just have to try. So I just want to do one last quick exercise if you'll humor me. So everyone put your hands up. Reach up, both hands, reach. Eyes, stretch, stretch. I know you're wearing suit jackets, just reach. Okay, good job, keep them up. Alright, now reach just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Okay, everyone see that? How your hands just went a little bit more? I want you to try that hard your first time. You can put them down. Try that hard your first time, because you're a leader. A disillusioned kid who's hungry to change the injustices of the world. And it's so much easier than you think. Alright, thank you guys so much. I think we're going to do some